Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I thought I would kind of do a Sephora re-haul and do speed reviews on pretty much all the stuff I've purchased during the sales, like VIB sale, friends and family sale. So for the past month or two, my Sephora purchases, and I'll be talking about my final kind of thoughts on them now that I've had more time to use them and seeing which ones I really like and maybe some ones that I don't like. Now, this sale is when I purchased a ton of the super popular palettes right now, so I have all of those basically a full review on in this video as well, since I didn't get to do individual videos on them like Natasha Retro Glam, Huda Empowered, so we have a lot of that too. So let's go ahead and get started. So first thing I want to talk about is this primer from Cali Ray, the So Blown Clean Blurring Primer. Now, I feel like I am pretty picky when it comes to primers and what I am looking for. I like a primer to kind of help prolong my foundation and also keep me matte throughout the day. Otherwise, I just feel like I can kind of just use my skincare products as primer. I feel like it basically does some of the same things. So I have found two like holy grail primers this year, so everything else just kind of doesn't really hold up to my expectations, including this one. I know a lot of people really love it, the So Blown. It's very blurring, but it's a little too slippery feeling for me, and it's a little too moisturizing where I get just too much oil coming throughout the day. So for me, I just didn't really care for it. It's okay, but I feel like literally my moisturizer could probably do a similar effect. I just didn't see that it was worth it to have this in my collection. I'm probably going to end up decluttering this one. Okay, I feel like we're starting off a little more negative here. I have another one that I think is kind of a pass for me. I didn't really see that it was worth the money, but this is from Huda Beauty and it's their Cherry Blossom powder. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the Easy Bake powder. I have it here in the shade Cupcake, which I guess has a slight pinky tone to it, but this is even more. Let me show you guys side by side. But yeah, a lot of people were using this one on TikTok and it really just like brightened up the under eyes with this pink shade, since pink and peach tend to be a little bit more brightening. But I feel like a lot of people were using it with a more pink based concealer as well, because when I tried it, I just really didn't see a huge difference trying this one and also trying the Cupcake. I had the Cherry Blossom on my right side here, and then the Cupcake was on this side, and I just feel like they pretty much looked identical to me, so I really didn't see that this was worth the extra splurge. I also kind of wish I had bought a mini of it. Sephora didn't have a mini size. I know that Huda Beauty did, but I just don't see why this is always sold out. I would just get Cupcake instead because it does have that slight pink undertone, but I still use this all over the face. But it's a great powder, just not really the color for me, and I just didn't really see the hype with this one. Okay, I did end up getting two new concealers, and I have one that I like and one that I think is just okay, not my favorite. So first up, the Sephora. This is the Best Skin Ever Full Coverage Concealer. This one I actually do really love. It does give me that full coverage effect, but I don't feel like it's cakey or drying underneath the eyes. I do like a decent amount of coverage under there, just to get rid of any dark circles. And yeah, I feel like this is great, and I feel like it lasts. It's also very cheap. I know Sephora is doing another savings event coming up with 20% off everything, and then 30% off Sephora, so definitely a time to get this because you can get it for super cheap. So this I would consider a drugstore like concealer. It's really good, definitely worth checking out. I use the shade 11.5p. Now on the other hand, this one surprisingly I didn't love. This is Charlotte Tilbury, and I feel like her complexion stuff is very hit or miss for me. So I tried out the Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer. Now I also didn't love her Beautiful Skin foundation, but I also do have oily skin, and that one was just way too glowy for me. But this one, I am surprised how dry it looked on me, because this actually does have skincare ingredients in it. So I really thought that it would be doing some benefits for me, but I feel like after like an hour, it's creasy, it's caked up and cracking, and it just does not look flattering. And for Charlotte Tilbury, I expect a lot more. I would definitely go for the Sephora concealer 100% over this one. I just didn't love it. I will say it's better than her original concealer that she had with the poof ball on it, but it's just not great in my opinion. For brows, I did try out this new brow gel from Lawless. This is their Hold Up Soft Set Creamy Brow Wax. I think this is a really nice product. It actually kind of blew me away how much I really enjoyed this one. I actually went ahead and put it on today for you guys by itself. Typically I would do a pencil liner just to line underneath a little bit and give some coverage, but this actually gives quite a bit of color and hold. So it is a brow wax, so it is going to set them up in place, and I have been liking a little bit more fluffed out brows, not like super dramatic, but just a little fluff to them, and I think this is excellent. So I have been reaching for this pretty much daily. It's become my new favorite brow gel because I do like to add the color in and the hold, which is really nice for more no makeup days that I could just put this in real quick and not have to worry about having to like line everything out. So this is really nice. I definitely recommend trying it out. I have the shade Light Medium. Lawless has some really good stuff. I feel like they are very underrated. I like so much of their things. I know they have a new brow pencil too, which I might have to try, but I feel like I've tried so many brow pencils this year and I've found some really good ones. But yes, this is my new favorite brow gel. Okay, I do have one new bronzer that I did try this month. I didn't buy this during the Sephora sale, but since it is at Sephora and I tried it in that time frame, I thought I would include it. This is by Merit, and this is their Bronze Balm. So I think I did this in a testing new makeup. This is just, it's okay. It's not my favorite. I'm really picky when it comes to cream bronzers, and I feel like this one just, it goes away as soon as I start powdering the face. It's just so subtle, and I know some people like that look. Some people want that very natural, almost not there kind of cream bronzer, and that's just not me. I like to see a little more definition. So I just don't love this one. So I'm probably going to end up decluttering this one too. If you guys missed it, I know not many people saw this video, but I ranked all my cream bronzers. If you guys are curious about my favorites, I'm going to link that down below for you because I have some really good ones that I just love so much more. When I put my bronzer on, I want to see it. I don't want it to blend to nothing. Okay, a couple more cheek products. I have some cheek palettes here. Let's start with this Hourglass one because this has just been a fave for me. This is beautiful. I know everyone's been hyping this one up, but it is worth the hype in my opinion. I know it's pricey. They just did like a 20% off Black Friday sale, and maybe you could snag this for 20% off during the Sephora sale if it's still available. I know Ulta has it too, but this palette is beautiful, and I usually don't really get into the Hourglass palettes that much, but this is their Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked, the Elephant version. This is your more medium skin tone, but I like it even though I have more light skin. The lighter one, the colors just weren't doing it for me, and this one I liked because it just had a little bit of everything, because you get your ambient powders here that you could use for setting. You have a highlighter. I use this one as bronzer on today over the Merit to kind of give some more color, and then I love these two blushes. You have a more true pink and a little bit more coral. These are really pigmented. Like if you're used to the Hourglass palettes, you know they're very natural. Usually their blushes are. These are pigmented and they are so stunning. So I've been loving this one, 100% worth it. It's been my go-to cheek palette. I also wanted to quickly talk about this Fenty little cheek duo that I picked up as part of their holiday collection, the double cheeked up cream blush duo. Now I feel like Fenty's cream blushes, they're okay. I never really fell in love with them, but I picked up this one because the colors were a lot brighter, and that was my issue with the Fenty. I just thought they were, again, too natural. They didn't really show up, and these are even pretty natural for being so dark, but I feel like it's really nice. I used it as a base today just to kind of show you how natural it really is, and then I did my Hourglass on top to show how that one is a lot more pigmented and a little more glowy. These are definitely a little more, I would say, almost a matte finish. But I do like to mix these two together. I think it's really pretty. I wouldn't say this is my favorite cream blush formula ever, but it's definitely, if you've been wanting to try Fenty, I would get this or try some of their darker colors. I do think this one is nice, and I can see myself wearing this pretty often, so I am happy with this purchase. Okay, and then this one honestly was such a surprise that it was a fail for me. It's the new Patrick Ta Cream Blush Palette, the Major Headlines Volume 2. I love his cream blush powders. It comes with a regular powder and a cream blush. He did a palette last year that sold out like so many times. Everyone was trying to get their hands on it, and it was super popular. And then this year's is just not the same. So first of all, this year it has 2 of the blushes and then 1 highlighter. But this year the cream blushes have sparkle in them. And when I did this in a testing new makeup, it really made me look so greasy. And I really thought at the time that it was my foundation doing that, but I really think it is this palette. I like a glow here and there, but I can't do too much. And this is just too much. And it also doesn't have the depth that the original palette has, which can be a problem for some, and some people may like that, because if you are super fair, you probably didn't like the first palette because it was pretty dark, but I still enjoy that one because you only need like a little dab of color. But yeah, this one was just such a letdown. I don't really use the highlighter either in here, so yeah, I'm just gonna stick with my original one. I'll probably end up decluttering this out of my collection. I feel like I'm past the return point now. I would pass on this palette. I think going with his original, just plain single blushes is great. I love the She's So LA color. She's That Girl is really pretty, but you definitely don't need this cream blush palette. I do have 2 mascaras I wanted to chat about as well. Both of these I did not get during the sale, but Tower 28 gifted me this one, and then this Lancome one I bought at Ulta. So I don't know if it is available at Sephora, but I wanted to give my thoughts. So the Tower 28, this is the Make Waves mascara. This one I really, really like, and I'm always picky with mascaras. I feel like, especially high-end ones, since the drugstore has so many good ones, but this is definitely a good one. So it's really lengthening, it gives me the volume that I want, and it's also smudge proof as well. Now this one I'm gonna say I would not recommend. This is the Lancome Lit 8 Hypnose mascara. I was really intrigued with this one because it's supposed to be like infused with lash growing ingredients basically, so it's kind of like a serum and a mascara in one, but I just don't feel like it does a lot to my lashes. I feel like the Tower 28 definitely looks better. I had the Tower 28 on my left eye and the Lancome was on the right, which may be flipped once you guys see it, but you can definitely tell a difference. I feel like I just feel like my lashes looked really short with the Lancome and not as thick, so this one's a winner, this one's a pass. Alright, should we get into the eyeshadow palettes, because I feel like this is a pretty long segment. I've purchased quite a few palettes during the Sephora sale, all the popular ones, so here's my reviews finally on these. I definitely want to get back into more of the dedicated reviews, but it's just a busy time. I had so many holiday shop with me's that I had to get up like in a timely manner, and then these just kind of fell back, but I've had plenty of time to test them out. So I'm going to start with the one that I am wearing. This is the Natasha Denona Retro Glam, and you guys know I'm a pretty big Natasha fan. I buy a lot of her palettes and I'm pretty pleased with them for the most part. I do love this packaging. It's very 70s, so fun, and everyone was so ready for this palette because if you guys know the retro mini palette, so many people love it. It's such a fun peachy and green palette, and for so many years everyone wanted a big one of this, so they finally did it. But I must say it's not really what I had expected from the mini retro. I was expecting a little bit more green mixed with peach, while this almost seems green mixed with pink, and I don't really care for those colors together, so that's kind of a strike there for me. Number 1 strike. Number 2 strike is that there's not many darker mattes in here. You have to build depth with shimmers, which you can do with Natasha's formula. She has a great formula that packs on really well and does not get so much fallout. If you do that with other palettes, usually you'll have a lot of shimmer fallout. But I do find that quite annoying. I do prefer my darker shades to be a bit more on the matte side with my shadows. Even if it was a cream to powder, I'd be happy, but the dark shades are pretty much all shimmers in here. So it's almost like a pastel palette in a way with the greens and stuff. I still think this is an amazing quality palette, true to Natasha's quality, and I've created some beautiful looks with it, but it's just not what I wanted this to be, and that's fine. Maybe it's what you wanted it to be and you love it. That's great. And I'm still going to keep this in my collection and use it, but it's definitely missing some things for me. So it's not a perfect palette in my opinion, but it is nice. Okay, next up, this one might be my favorite of the new ones, and this is the Huda Empowered palette, just because I feel like you get a lot and you can do a lot with it. So here is the packaging, and then you have your shades inside. This is just definitely my tones. The only annoying thing with Huda is that she always does neutral palettes and they all kind of look like this. And this is more comparable to her Naughty Nudes, but this one has a bit more, I would say, gold to it. I do feel like every year Huda kind of tries to do something a little fun and innovative, and this year she came out with 2 of these cream shadows in here that you could use as liners, and I have been using them for like the waterline, lower lash line, and they do work pretty well for that. So a lot of people were saying like they're never going to use them, but like I encourage you to try it out because it actually is kind of fun to have your liner built in. But I get some gorgeous neutral looks out of this palette, a lot of fun bronzy tones. It's very golden, but I really love pretty much every look I do when I am playing with this palette, and I do think it's gorgeous because every skin tone can wear this. It has the depth I want, the deeper mattes, but I know some people can get annoyed with Huda's kind of repetitiveness, but I love a neutral palette, so I'm all about it. Okay, let's talk about Makeup by Mario. I did pick this one up too during the sale, the Ethereal Eyes palette. So I saw this and I was like, oh, this is gonna be my first Makeup by Mario palette. I definitely wanted to get it. Here is what it looks like, and then you have your shades inside. So you got some really pretty sparkly shades in here. It is extremely neutral again, but that is what I like to wear. So this one's fun because this one actually, the shimmers in here are more like glittery. They're not thick chunky glitters though. They're very thin. They don't really feel like a glitter, but they give you that super sparkly lid, and I feel like literally every time I wear this palette I'm always getting compliments on Instagram from you guys. But it definitely has its faults too. First of all, it's pretty expensive for Makeup by Mario. I feel like it's like almost 10 bucks more than his regular palettes, and maybe that's for the shimmers in here. I do think the mattes are pretty nice in here as well. I really like the matte formula. It kind of makes me want to try like his other, I think an all matte palette he has. But again, this one doesn't build much depth. I feel like it's very light. Like even the darker shades that are in here, I'll build it on the eyes, build it up to as dark as I want it, and then I feel like it just fades so fast once I put my shimmer on top. I definitely feel like it could use some darker shades for sure, and ones that don't blend away too much. So it does have its faults. Again, it's not a perfect palette, but I do find myself reaching for this quite a bit because I do love those shimmers. But I was thinking that this is very comparable to the Patrick Ta original Major Dimension palette, the first one he did, and he also has those fun glitter toppers, and I do prefer Patrick's mattes. I feel like I could do some deeper looks with his palette, and I do like the shimmers a little bit better in his. So if you're gonna splurge, I would go on Patrick's palette, but they both are similar, and I do wear this and reach for it a lot because it is very pretty. So I'm definitely getting my money's worth out of this one. I think this is the last palette. I picked this one up during the sale as well from Dior, my first Dior eyeshadow palette. This one, okay, I have to say this is probably my least favorite one that I bought, and I don't think it lives up to the price tag. And I do feel like for a luxe palette like this, I was just expecting more pigment, and I've come to realize that a lot of these luxury brands, they're not really about the pigmentation, but they do have really soft, smooth, flattering shades, easy to work with. But it's just, I wanted more from this, and I didn't think it was worth the price. All of these are like a satin finish, so there's not any true mattes in here. But I just feel like you can't really build depth with this either. It just looks so light, even if you keep packing on these darker colors like this. I just wasn't overall super impressed with this one, and it is my least favorite of the ones that I've tried. Probably won't be picking up many of their eyeshadow palettes. I just kind of realized it's not really a brand for me, just like Chanel, their eyeshadows, it's not for me. I like pigmentation, I like super metallic shimmers, that's what I like, and that's not what they really deliver. Okay, I do have quite a bit of lip stuff here, so let's start with this lip liner I bought from the Give brand by Gwen Stefani, and this is their Pout to Get Real overlining lip pencil. So it's supposed to be this more slanted shape that's supposed to really make it easier to overline the lips. I didn't really feel like it was that great, honestly. I feel like the color I got was too light and it do whatever. I mean, it does match with a lot of neutral lipsticks, but I feel like this was really hard to apply. I had to really press down. So I definitely have better in my collection. I would recommend the Makeup by Mario lip liners, or also the Makeup Forever ones are really good. So I have a lot of really good ones, and I don't know, I wasn't impressed by this one. one, so I would not say you need to have this in your life. It really doesn't do anything too different. I also purchased the Natasha Denona lipstick from the My Dream collection. This is the Natasha shade, and I'm really glad that I bought this. I bought it later than the palette because I thought it was just the same lipstick that was already promoted as Natasha, which I already own, but it's a completely different lipstick. This one's so pretty though. It actually has a nice creaminess to it. I feel like maybe Natasha is reformulating her lipsticks or something because they've been on clearance on Sephora for a while, so I have a feeling she's gonna come out with a new formula. I actually like her lipsticks though. This one's even better. It's creamy, it's pigmented, it's a gorgeous nude shade, so definitely worth checking this one out as well. I've been wearing this one so much. It is so beautiful. I also picked up a new shade in the Makeup by Mario Lip Plumps. This is the Honey Glow shade, and I kind of said this in my haul video, but I like this formula a lot, and I thought this color would be a bit deeper because I'm just really liking those natural, but they still give you a hint of color, lip balms and lip glosses for fall, and I feel like this one could have gave me a little bit more than what I was looking for, but it's still beautiful. Like, it does give you that pretty brown honey color. I just didn't know if I really needed this, but I still do love the formula. It's just not the color I was looking for, but it's still very pretty. And then I also picked up, I don't have them all with me, but I picked up a Summer Fridays kit, and I just bought it because I felt like it had really good reviews. I'm like, let's try this out. I love different lip balms, and I was surprised how much I loved this set. So this set actually came with a full size of their Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm. This one has a vanilla scent. It smells incredible, and it seriously is one of the best lip balms that I have. So this honestly did shock me quite a bit. I've been reaching for these everywhere, especially these colored ones. I don't even know where the other two are because they're literally all over the place. I have them in my car, in all my bags. They're that good, but I do feel like I do wear this color a lot, and I found this one in my purse, and I don't, what does it say? This is the brown sugar one, and this is just so pretty. It's that color that I love. It just gives you a hint of color on the lips. Feels amazing. I do prefer a tint to my lip balm, so this is perfect. I definitely want the full size. I don't know if the set is still available, but if not, you can buy these all individually. So I kind of like this one, that it has more of that like purpley tone that I'm looking for, while the Honey from Makeup by Mario is more like orangey. But yeah, I really love these, and just the scent in the applicator. They're so good. They smell like cupcakes. Okay, almost done here. I'm gonna end it on the perfumes I picked up, which I feel like since I'm kind of a fragrance junkie, I just kind of felt pressured to order some perfumes for the sale, even though I just was already happy with what I had in my collection, but I just wanted to get a discount on something, so I ended up picking out this Viktor & Rolf Flower Bomb Ruby Orchid, and I like it, but I don't love it, and for a fragrance to stay in my collection, I have to be in love with it because I have so many. And it's just okay. I actually think I prefer the original Flower Bomb over this one, but I'm really not reaching for it. And you know when you like smell a perfume and it just smells so good. Like, you know that feeling. I don't get that feeling with this. So I think I'm gonna probably end up selling this one. I think I'm past the return day. I have to see, but yeah, I'm not in love with it. I need to go ahead and pick up the original because the original is such a classic. I do love that one a lot. I also purchased the new Sol de Janeiro Cheirosa 62, and you're probably like, that's not new, but they actually did redo the perfume, and they're supposed to make it more long lasting, and I don't know if I believe that. Now, I love Sol de Janeiro. Like, their Cheirosa scent is so good. I just don't know if you need this perfume, because I feel like it dissipates within an hour. Maybe it's just me, maybe others could smell it on me, but I just don't think this lasts past an hour, which is pretty sad, since they reformulated it to make it more longer lasting. I just kind of feel like you should just buy the fragrance mist that's like $20 instead, and you'll probably get the same staying power or even more. So I just don't think it's worth having the perfume, even though it does smell delicious. So I think that is everything I wanted to talk about today, just going over some of my recent Sephora purchases. I'm trying to keep up with my collection. I'm doing a big declutter and stuff, so I want to be able to do these speed reviews a bit more. I feel like usually if I do a dedicated review on something, I probably won't include it in the speed reviews, but I know this stuff, I just hauled it and I just really didn't tell you guys much about it, so now you know if these products are worth getting or not. But that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.